Back in 2021, CM Punk signed to AEW after 7 years of not being a part of professional wrestling. It drew big numbers. Punk saw himself as someone who could help AEW grow big and possibly do better in numbers than WWE. Tony Khan saw him as another big star that was going to propel them even higher in the wrestling rankings. But things changed. By September 2023, CM Punk was released. What happened, and was it his fault? Now, Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks have refused to talk about anything CM Punk related, other than Tony saying he was afraid for his life, and in April 2024, they released the Punk and Perry footage from August 2023. They only released it to try and make AEW look good, and to try and benefit from a rivalry involving the Young Bucks and Perry that was happening on TV. It clearly isn't just because of legal issues, because Punk went on the MMA Hour and talked about everything that went wrong during his time with AEW. So all we have to go off of is from what CM Punk has said. Let me explain to you the events that happened leading up to him leaving AEW in 2023. Everything I say I will be repeating from the MMA Hour show he was on. This is a small detail, but he mentioned how when he arrived to All In London in 2023, AEW as a company didn't send anyone to pick Punk up from the airport. As the champion of your company, you think Tony would have sent someone to pick you up for your biggest show of the year. When he talks about prior to the Jack Perry incident, he wanted to be paid his money so he can leave the company. He wasn't happy with the company and just wanted to leave. So Tony came up with the idea to create a different show to separate everyone. Punk was supposed to be the big star of that show. During one of the shows, Tony Schiavone came to Punk and asked him to talk to Perry about something he wanted to do during the show. Perry wanted to use a pipe to break a window in a rental car. Punk, the company doctor, and others told Perry it was dangerous and that was going to ruin getting rental cars for other wrestlers in the future. Punk dealt with the situation, then went to Tony Khan saying please handle it and be a boss. If not, he's not going to like how Punk deals with it. Tony did nothing about it, so the night of All In London, Jack made a smart remark about it being real glass. He said, "This is real glass, cry me a river," and then put somebody through the window of a car. After the match, Punk approached Perry and asked him why he insists on doing this internet crap. Perry went on to say if he doesn't like it, do something about it. Punk then pushed Perry, then started to choke him. Samoa Joe broke it up. Punk turned to Tony Khan and said, "This place is a joke, and you were a clown. I quit." Samoa Joe and Jerry Lynn somehow convinced Punk to go out and do their match that they have planned. After Punk's match, he was told Perry was told to leave, but then was pretty much told he had to leave too. That following week, Tony Khan went on air during Collision talking about the situation that took place at All In London. He said in his 30 years of going to wrestling shows, he has never felt like his life was in danger like he did that last Sunday. And after talking to the higher ups, he made the decision to terminate CM Punk. In November 2023, CM Punk made his return to WWE after 9 years, but 6 months after All In London, and everyone was still talking about the CM Punk situation. Jack Perry even benefited from it all and made him even more popular on AEW TV. CM Punk, since his WWE return, has made a handful of AEW jabs on TV, but during this time, no one in AEW has gone out and talked about the incident since that day happened. But because of the MMA Hour interview, one day in April 2024, Tony Khan announced that they were going to release the footage of what happened. The Young Bucks used the video in a promo to pretty much make Jack Perry and AEW as a company look good. Before all of this, CM Punk had to sign an NDA requested by Tony Khan about a small fight that happened between the top guys in the locker room. He says he didn't have to sign it because he did anything wrong. Also, during that fight, it could have been when he injured his arm. AEW did not pay for anything relating to his injury, and no one even called him from the company for 6 months. Now, if CM Punk was wrong about any of this, at this point, it would have been almost a year since everything completed between Punk and AEW. Someone would have came out and said something, unless everyone in AEW had to sign an NDA. With everything that Punk said, this is what I got out of it. CM Punk was extremely unhappy after he experienced how chaotic AEW is backstage. He wanted to leave the company for at least a year, but as I've said in many videos in recent times, Tony Khan is extremely childish. He saw Punk as a big draw for the company, which he was, but does not know how to run the company. If fights are happening and arguments continue to happen between people, you have to do do one of two things. One thing you can do is just separate those people. He said he was going to try to do that by creating Collision, but didn't enforce who was going to be working at that show. The second thing he could do is just let somebody go. Whoever the problem is, you need to deal with them like a boss. Whether it's the current star of the company or the executive vice president, Punk wanted to leave. He was not happy. So Tony, knowing the problems, should have let him go earlier. A big problem I have with this whole situation is that Tony tried to use the security video as something that will push the view count for that week. I do think that he truly believed that once the video released, everyone will think completely different about Punk. But what really happened? Everything in that video, Punk already explained in detail what happened. He wasn't lying. The video was 55 seconds long. The small scuffle was a total of 7 seconds. In 7 seconds, Tony Khan was afraid for his life? This dude is super overdramatic and completely insane. He only said that to try to push the fan base to support himself and AEW instead of Punk. But the video made him look so stupid, it's insane. On X for days, people were just making fun of the whole situation. It did nothing but make Punk look better and Tony look like a fool. It's sad that his time in AEW went the way it did. When he came back, I remember sitting there and watching the show, so happy that he was back wrestling. But the selfish acts from the people they call the elite ruined great business for AEW. Now everyone can say in the comments, oh my god, you were a WWE fanboy. You were such a AEW hater. CM Punk ruined it for himself. But guess what, guys? I am a WWE fanboy. And at times, I extremely hate AEW. I don't hate them because it's WWE competition or because of the wrestlers. I don't like how Tony Khan does business. Check out my last video. I talked about everything that Tony can do to fix AEW and make those ratings go back up. I want the competition in wrestling. It makes every show better, but with this, until we hear from Tony Khan or the elite about this, CM Punk wasn't the problem. AEW was the problem. Now this is the final part of a 4-part series I did talking about AEW as a whole. The other parts are the last 3 videos I uploaded. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Follow me on my socials and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
You know what this is right here?
And then crushing.
Real glass!
Crushing the abdomen.
Go cry me a river.
This is from Mindy's Bakery, by the way. It's a great place in Chicago if you like pastries and baked goods. I suggest you go there. They're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, though.